Hi guys, FrostFangs here, welcome back once again, of course, to another Paladins video. We're going to be doing a tier list today, the first one I've done on the channel. We're going to be doing damages, as I'm sure you know from the title and the thumbnail. I'll be doing other tier lists soon. I'm going to go in some sort of order of each class, and then I'm going to do one video after Azon has been out, kind of rounding them all up. I reckon I'll also do one on the maps and the game modes. If there's any others you want to see me do, let me know. It will all depend on how you guys receive this, because if you guys hate tier lists, then I'm not going to make more tier list videos. But focusing on damages today, I do have the other characters here, because I want to do a bit of a bonus round at the end with characters that kind of play like damages. I'm pretty sure all of you know how tier lists work by now, because I'm like the last YouTuber to do one, S being the best, D being the worst, and B being kind of average. But I should clarify, and I'll probably do this in all of the videos because I feel like I have to, this isn't a tier list for like the meta characters or how good characters are. I'm basing this just off of how much I like to play the characters, how I feel about the characters, their design, their gameplay elements, all that sort of stuff. But it's not a meta tier list. That's kind of the main thing to take away. It's just my personal rating for them. Bomb King gonna go solidly into the B category. He's definitely not an S. I feel like there's quite a few things that could be better about him, and he's also definitely not a D, because I do pick him up every now and again. There's a few parts about his kit I dislike, a few others that I really like. For example, just chaining bombs on people and then just insta-killing them is really, really satisfying. That's kind of why he's going to go in B tier, because I consider him average, maybe a little bit above average. I might revise this a little bit after I put them all together, and he might go up to an A, but right now I'm feeling a B. Moving on to Cassie, she's not an S, she's not a D, she might be a C or a B. I don't think she's an A. It really depends on how much I've been playing Paladins and kind of where the meta is. She is kind of an OG character though, so I think I'm going to bump her up from C and put her in B. I'm just now realizing how hard it is for me to rate characters because of how long I've been playing this game. If you've been following the channel for a long time, you know I've been playing Paladins pretty much ever since it was a thing that people could play. And when I think of Cassie, I think about Cassie not necessarily where she is at the moment, but where she was before she even had a crossbow and she had just like a normal bow. If you were to ask me where I'd have put her like 3 years ago, it would have been D. I really didn't like how Cassie used to play. She was one of my least favorite characters, if I remember correctly, back in the early days of Paladins. She has definitely gotten better, and now she kind of falls into the classic category for characters for me, where she ends up being a B alongside Bomb King. I think that's pretty fitting. Moving on to Dredge, I think it's going to be a pretty solid C, C+. If there was a category, I don't think he's D. He's quite far away from my least favorite characters, but he doesn't really suit playstyle wise the way I like to play Paladins. My favorite class is probably Flankers. I thought about that right before recording this video. Weirdly enough, Damages is my least favorite class of characters. I prefer Frontlines and Support and also Flankers to damages, and that's kind of why he ends up being a C, is because he is a very damage oriented damage. He doesn't really have many interesting things going on in his kit other than just spam and output high numbers, and he's a very stationary as well. He doesn't really have any movement other than his teleport, so that's why Dredge is going into C. I do apologize if I sound scuffed in this video. My voice is completely screwed from when I recorded a bunch on the PTS. But we've got Drogoz next. I think he's going to be above Dredge, probably also a B. The B section is already looking kind of stacked, but he's not my favorite. Wouldn't put him A or S, but I do like playing him every now and again. I do like kind of his huge area damage playstyle and flying around a ton. Overall, he's going to be a B, probably a little bit above the Cassie and the Bomb King, because I think he's a little bit more unique than those, and he's in a character that can probably fly around. I'm going to organize these from best in class to worst in class, so Drogoz, BK, then Cassie. Moving on to Amani, she's going to be an A, but she's going to be quite a low A. If there's anybody else here in this class, she's going to be towards the end over the row. I don't think I play her a massive amount. She's not an S, but she's also probably picked him up more often than I pick up the other characters. She gets quite a lot of points for being able to stance switch. She was, I think, the first character we got that could stance switch, and the dragon is also really, really cool, although at the moment it's not in the best place ever. Amani, I think, earns her spot in A. Don't think I said it at the start of the video, but feel free to disagree with me. I'd love to hear your guys' tier list down in the comments. I don't know if you necessarily want to, list everybody or all the damages or whatever, but just a rough one. I'd love to hear what you guys would rate the different characters, because it's probably going to be quite a bit different from how I rate them. But moving on to Canessa, she's going to go in between a B and a C. I'm not sure really where to put her. She's not my favorite of the snipers or really that archetype. I don't like the archetype that much in Paladins. Anyway, I do in other games, but for some reason in Paladins it's not the way that I like to play. And I will say I pick up Canessa very, very rarely, so I think she's going to be a C, but probably above Dredge, about even. Honestly, it's kind of hard to really compare to Dredge. They're very, very different characters. A big reason why she's in C at the moment is because most of the maps don't really allow Canessa to be played the way that I like to play her. Back in the day when the maps were freaking massive, it used to be a lot more fun, but right now she's a C, and I don't pick her up very often. She's pretty limited in the way that you can play her. Not my sort of thing. I know a lot of people would put her in S or A, but for me, the sniping playstyle in Paladins doesn't really fit the way that I like to play the game. We got Leanne next. I'd put her at an A, I think. Maybe a B. High B or A. I think I'll go for A right now. Maybe we'll readjust it. I like Leanne. She's very easy and fun to play. You can get crazy amounts of burst. The reset feels really satisfying. You've got quite a lot of movement going on. She plays kind of different to most of the other damages when you think about it. She's getting nerfed in the Azan update, so maybe after the nerf she'll go down to a B, but right now, as long as she isn't completely dead, I think I'm going to put her in an A, probably above Amani. For some reason, the tier list is a bit jank. I reckon Vivian and Canessa are going to be the most controversial placements here in the tier list. I think pretty much everybody can agree with like Drogoz, BK, Cassie, Dredge, and Amani for the most part, but I think Vivian and Canessa is going to be where a lot of people disagree with me. I'm pretty sure I've got Octavia under level 20, so I don't feel like I've really got the full experience with her, but right now she is going to be, I think, a B as well. I do like the Q and also the commander feeling that they've given her. We kind of pick in the buff at the start of the match. That is very, very unique, so maybe she goes above BK for that, but she doesn't really have any super satisfying moments to me, and I just don't really know why I'd grab her over one of the other characters. Again, feel free to disagree with me, but that's just the way I feel about Octavia, the way she is at the moment. She could have done with a little bit of extra flair, but then again, she fits the role perfectly that they were trying to give her. Talking about new characters, moving on to Sati, she's going to be our first S tier, and you may be surprised by that, but you shouldn't if you've watched my Sati videos. But right now she's going into S, but with an asterisk. Depending on what they do in the upcoming updates and what they fix, she might go down to an S or even a B, because right now she is pretty janky and does feel kind of bad to play in quite a few situations. Don't get me wrong though, she's not a high S tier, she's not perfect. Even if they did fix everything, the ultimate is a bit of an iffy ability for me. I do really like the kind of feel she has when you're playing her. She feels very different to the rest of the characters, I'd say, in the damage class for sure. Does feel sort of similar to Andro, just to bring that up. I really like the coin, the idea of it is great. The execution was mediocre. The ultimate is a similar thing. The Q is kind of like Charlene's old F, which now that it's gone I kind of miss, and Sati kind of replaced that a little bit. And overall I think just the base of what Sati is really, really cool. Her character design is also sick and just feels great to play, at least for me. Maybe it's just because she's new, maybe it's recency bias, but right now I'm feeling she's a medium, maybe low S. But that is with the asterisk that they fix stuff, because if they don't, she definitely does drop down a tier or two. Charlene, also a classic, used to be one of my favorite characters, but I don't think I can place him any higher than A. I definitely used to like him more when you could stun with Charlene. It was very jank, a lot of the time it didn't work, but it felt so satisfying to stun somebody against the wall, hit him with the Q, and maybe a left click combo to finish them off. Old Charlene would have been an A, but I think current Charlene with the right click cripple and some of the other parts about his kit being jank, I don't think he has FPS issues anymore. Overall though, he is like a high B. Maybe under Drogoz, yeah, we'll put him highest to B. I feel like that's a very fair spot for him. I don't see many people play Charlene. I think he's probably the least played character in Paladins. At least to me, he has a very classic Paladins feel, but I can't rate him any higher than that just because of what he used to be and how much I used to like him back in the day. Anyway, enough talking about Charlene. I feel like that went on longer than it should have anyway. We've got Strix. I feel like he could go in like a medium B. He's not going to go any higher than that. I do prefer him to Canessa quite a bit, but there's still parts about his kit that I don't love. His pistol just doesn't feel that good to me, even with the buffs they've given it and stuff. I also don't really like his ultimate. I do actually like going against him quite a bit. He's quite a fun character, yeah, to play against. But playing Strix, for me, not really my thing again, just because he's a sniper. Do prefer him to Canessa though, so he's going B, maybe a little bit higher in B, B medium, somewhere around there. Like I said, this is going to be my most negative video out of the tier list series, just because damages are my least favorite class. We've got Tiberius, who I'd put, I think, in an A, probably low A. I do like him quite a bit. He feels pretty satisfying to play even after the nerfs. When I think about his kit, I like the ultimate, I like the Q, I like the right click, the F is also fine, so I'm going to put him in medium A, probably above Amani, maybe below Leanne. I'm not sure. L of A tier, to be honest, around the same sort of thing. B tier is kind of organized, but the other ones don't really matter that much. Then we have Tyra. She's a pretty easy A for me. I like the different ways you can play her, the nade, the mark, and the Burr Monster playstyle are all pretty different from the other playstyles we have in the game. Burr Monster feels really satisfying. The nade, even after the nerf, is fine, and the mark, even though it's not that good compared to her other two playstyles, is pretty interesting, so she does land pretty safely into A. I was expecting this to be a shorter video, but I've been recording here for nearly an hour, so hopefully you can see why I'm cutting it up by classes so that it's not like 4 or 5 hours long. It'll probably be pretty short after I cut it up in editing, but yeah, been going here for quite a while, and I'm hopefully going to cut it down to something that makes sense. We'll go ahead and move on to the combo of blasters here, Victor and Vivian. Victor goes into C, although quite high C. I would say I really only like the nade playstyle, which isn't the way most people play him. I can't really stand burst mode or cardio Victor. For some of you, I'm sure you'll enjoy him, but for me, he's a C, although I'd actually put him under Dredge when I think about it. Yeah, Dredge is higher C than Victor and Canessa. But for me, when I boot up a game of Paladins, I never grab Victor unless I specifically want to play the nade setup and want to blast the objective a ton. I don't really ever grab him, but he is a very healthy character for the game, and I think C tier is where he should safely be. Moving on to Vivian, I think I'm going to put her in the low B, maybe higher C than Victor. Yeah, now that I think about it, Vivian is definitely B. The infinite ammo setup gets her quite a lot of points. She is a tank shredder, but also with a few little unique touches. She's not just a sit and spray type of character. You also throw the mines, you've got the shield. She has quite a few unique things going for us. I think she's going to go into B, probably higher than Strix, maybe higher than Cassie too. I'm not sure. Does she beat Octavia? Yeah, she kind of does, but BK, Drogoz and Charlene are above her by quite a bit. For the last one, we're pretty much already at the end. We've got Willow, who is going to go in A for me. Maybe even S. Is Willow S? I think Willow's actually S now that I think about it. Willow is S. She's below Sati, but she is S tier. When I think about it, Willow has a lot going for her. The Q can be incredibly bursty, really fun to play. The dead zone also feels pretty satisfying. There was a little period a while ago, maybe a year or 2 or 3 back, where you could play really bursty Willow with the right click combo, which was probably my favorite time to play Willow. But even where she is at the moment, I would put it into S tier. I really like the ultimate. I like characters with mobility. That's probably why flankers are my favorite class, just from what you can see here. It's kind of organized with how much mobility you have in a weird sort of way, except for the exceptions, obviously. But I'm pretty sure this is close to the final version of the tier list. Maybe I'll put Victor and Canessa down in D, maybe just to use this tier because I've not got anybody on it. Then maybe I can spread this around a little bit more and put Strix in like Dredge and move some stuff. After thinking about it for a couple of minutes, moving some stuff around, this is the final version of my tier list. Again, it's not a meta tier list, it's not for how good the characters are, it's just my personal feelings about them and where I would put them, judging basically off of how much I like them, how much I want to play them, how much I like their design, stuff like that, just an overall view on them. And yeah, Victor and Canessa are my least favorites. Willow and Sati are my top 2. Tyra is now top of A, followed by Amani and Tiberius. Leanne is highest of B, then Charlene, Drogoz, Bomb King, I feel like I have to go kind of together, and then Vivian, followed by C tier, which aren't really in order, but Cassie, Dredge, Octavia, Strix, and then, like I said, Victor and Canessa. I feel weird putting characters in D tier because I still like Canessa and Victor quite a bit. I don't really hate any characters in Paladins. I play everybody, so it's quite difficult to put them in a tier list. And like I said throughout the video, there are a few asterisks. Sati specifically has a huge one on her S tier. Charlene also has kind of an asterisk on his B because I kind of miss old Charlene, and old Charlene is higher B, maybe A, whereas new Charlene and the way he is at the moment is probably lower B, maybe even high C, so he's there sort of with an asterisk on him. Same thing with Leanne because of her recent changes and a few other characters here. But other than that, let's actually go through sort of a bonus round of the characters that are played like damages but aren't actually in the damage role, aside from front lines and flanks, because they all kind of play as pseudo damages anyway. Who do we have in like the healer section that's played like a damage? Furia Beam is played like a damage. That is quite satisfying. It has been nerfed quite a bit, but Furia damage I'd put in probably a B. Not really going to go into it too much because this is just a bonus round right at the end. We've got Grok damage, which is definitely in S tier. Really the only damage we have in the game that's like chain damage that you can get between characters. Feels very, very unique to play. Doesn't really feel like a healer at all when you're playing him like that. The ultimate is also kind of just a damage ability in a lot of ways, so Grok quite easily goes into S tier, but at least when we're comparing him to support, I'm not really comparing the support damages to the other damages. Grover is also sometimes played as just a straight damage, but he is a little bit under, probably like a C, I reckon. Can't really play IO like a damage, can't really play Corvus like a damage. Genos, you can't really play like a damage that much anymore either, to be honest. Then who do we have? Damber, Stun Damber, solid A, pain in the ass to go against, a lot of fun to play, but a bit spammy, so I can't really put it in S tier. It is a classic though, so maybe it goes up. Not really sure. I kind of want to put Stun Damber in S tier just because he's like one of my OG favorite characters, so I think I'm going to put him in S, even though it's a bit repetitive and very spammy. I feel like Grok is a little bit more unique, but he is also the only playstyle kind of like that's just based around spamming a stun the entire time with a reload, so I guess we're going to leave him in S tier. Then who else do we have here? I guess Pip damage is an A. Pip damage is an A, maybe high B, probably A because it's also kind of a classic. Can't really play Ceres fully as a damage either, so Ceres isn't really going to be put on the list. Ruckus is a frontline that you can kind of play like a damage, but these days he's played more like a tank. Skye, even though she's a flanker, plays like a damage a lot of the time. Ying damage, that's sort of a thing. I guess we'll put that in C, maybe B actually. We'll put Ying damage like CB somewhere around there. Ray, you can't play as a damage, wish you could, or I guess you can play Ray as like a doula, which is a setup I've covered on the channel. I put that in A, even with the nerf. It's quite fun to play, very unique. Also No, I'm going to put that in S. Screw it. So there we go. End of the bonus round. My voice is now completely gone. Fun video to record though. I will hopefully be doing more tier lists coming soon. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Let me know any other tier lists you want to see me do. And yeah, it's been quite a long video. I feel like I've been recording here for ages. I don't know if I've been able to cut it down to something short, but yeah, we'll see. Thank you for watching. Of course, I'll see you all really, really soon. Thank you once again so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. I really do appreciate you. And as always, stay Frost. Stay.